Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Open Letters to a Survivor. I am James, and I am excited. We have a great friend to the show here on the show with the ladies tonight. I am going to cut it right there, and I need to talk a whole lot. I am just going to pass it off to Lady Poet, who is going to kick things off tonight. We have a great night in store for you today. Lady Poet, Cassandra, K Love, what's up? Glad to see your shining and beautiful faces. And Lady Poet, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. We want to welcome you to another episode of Open Letters to a Survivor, the podcast. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and thank you for tuning in to our Survivor series for the month of October. Again, I am Lady Poet, the creator and founder. I have my co-host Cassandra Williams, who's my left hand, and my right hand, as always, Miss K Love. Sometimes that's my brain too, cause she be get me together and I be up here lost, both of them sometimes. So I appreciate the both of y'all. Cassandra, as always, we have you open with the letter, and then you could go ahead and introduce our amazing guests. And to everybody, we do want to put a trigger warning for this series for the month of October. So we are putting that out there. And thank you. You could go ahead with the letter.
All right. Thank you so much, Lady Poet. Good evening to all of our viewers. Again, I'm going to reiterate that we are giving the trigger warning as today's discussion is around domestic abuse in relationships. So just be forewarned. So we're going to go ahead and get started in our letter this evening. Dear Survivor, relationship abuse, intimate partner violence, domestic abuse. No matter what name you may call it or know it as, they all describe a pattern of behavior in a relationship that is used to gain or maintain power and control over an intimate partner. And while we may typically think of these types of relationships being the kind where a man is abusing his partner, there are, unfortunately, as well, relationship woman is the abuser of her partner. And while the mere existence of domestic abuse and other abuses and crimes make no sense to me, and I'm sure to you as well, unfortunately, it does exist. Domestic abuse is not the sole lover of women only. As I just stated, it recruits and loves men as well. Men, hear me out. Men and women, but for today, I'm specifically calling on men who often will not admit to, open up about, or seek help for being abused by the woman in their lives. I'm here to tell you there's no shame. You deserve better. You are not the cause of your partner's actions. You deserve better. You must get out and away from the dysfunction in your life. You deserve better. You are not less of a man by leaving. We at Open Letters to a Survivor are here for you. We have access to support resources for you. The National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 is available to you 24/7. You are enough. You are worthy of true love. You owe it to yourself to move out of your comfort zone. Comfort zone? Yes, you're in a comfort zone. Why try to have a relationship with someone new who could be just as bad, if not worse, when I can just stick it out with what I already know? Sound familiar? Ask me how I know. There's a better version of yourself waiting for you to let this go. There's a peace that awaits you. There's a joy that awaits you. There's a genuine love that awaits you, not from someone else, but from you. Again, ask me how I know. When you are ready to move and move on, when you are ready, and I mean truly ready to end the madness, when you are for real, sick and tired of being sick and tired, when you are ready to end the calls to the police, filing police reports, having restraining orders, stay away orders, going back and forth via text messages, leaving nasty voicemails, venting on social media, covering up physical wounds, licking emotional wounds, having children, if there are any, hearing, watching, running, hiding, covering each and every time they hear your arguments. When enough is not just said in the moment to offer forgiveness, only to reset the clock and start the madness all over again. When enough is truly and soulfully felt to be enough, you will leave without the perfect exit plan. You will leave to ease your mind, heart, and spirit. You will leave to teach your child or children a better way of being treated. You will leave because it's necessary. You will leave because you need you. You will leave to save yourself. You will leave because you're finally done and there's no better time than right now. Leave. We are here for you. You are here for you. Gather a supporter nearby who can help you. And if you don't think you have a supporter in your life yet, be that to yourself and as best you can for now and leave anyway. But know that you and only you are the person who can call an end to the chaos, the trauma, the madness, the violence, the abuse. It's time when you say it's time and be the man you have always been meant to be. Love yourself enough to go. Take care and be well as you elevate along your healing journey. Sincerely, Lady Poet Speaks, K Love, James, Tim, today's guest, Jamal Edwards, and me, Cassandra Williams.
Every week we tell you those letters are all inspiring. So thank you. And we will let you go ahead and introduce our guest today.
All right. Our fabulous guest this evening is a high school classmate of mine and dynamic speaker, life coach, and attorney. So it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Jamal Edwards.
Okay, so James is having technical issues, so he's probably not going to bring the guest on right away.
Okay.
So what we can do is we can go to our spotlight. We can talk about Open Letters to a Survivor online, which is our website. So if you want to check out past shows, if you miss any past shows, you can actually go on to there, look up our past shows. We'll turn it over to Kayla for our spotlight, and then we'll do the sponsorship, and then we'll bring our guest on.
Okay, no problem.
All right, awesome. So, in our spotlight, as usual, we have our brother Tim Stevens, who will be launching his accessory line December 17th. And it is on Instagram. You can look it up at right.brothers216. And it is to look right, feel right, stay right, grow right. Yeah. Y'all know I love to say that stuff.
And right.
Yes.
All right. So to get your business on our spotlight, please email us at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com and put in the subject line spotlight. I can just go ahead and do our let's go to therapy real quick, and then we'll see if the guest is ready.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. All right. So in our let's go to therapy, check out Belinda Williams. She is with the Cleveland Health and Wellness Center, specializing in trauma within our communities. And please, if you feel that you need her services, give her an email at belinda@chawc.org. And we also have Dr. Shamara Hutchins with a flexible approach to therapy because she customizes her time to serve you and our people in the community who are experiencing trauma. She is the creator of Melanated Minds Network, and look for Mindologists on all social media networks. You can get on our Let's Go to Therapy segment by emailing us also at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com. And are we ready for our guest?
Yes, we are ready for the guest. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're sorry about the little technical glitch we had.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to just take us into our questions tonight since we have an awesome guest and we have a lot of information to cover. So please tell us about you and your story.
Well, I guess the shortest way to tell the story is Cassandra and I graduated from high school together. I've done a lot of things since then. Probably middle-aged people at this point, so that's a lot of life to cover in a short period.
I'm not middle-aged. I'm just saying.
Speaking for myself, then apparently, just pretend
Let's
like
not deny the truth. Let's not deny the truth.
didn't graduate the same year with me. Well, we can just pretend. Right. But anyway, so I am a middle-aged, recently divorced guy who is also a lawyer and a life coach. I've been an ordained minister and a bunch of other things in my life. But yeah, I think that's probably the best introduction to give at this point.
Jamal, can you go ahead and share with us your story for why you are here with us this evening?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. It's something I never really thought I'd be talking about. I grew up in Detroit with someone who won't be named because we don't want to make her seem like she's a little older than she might be. But anyway, I grew up in Detroit, son of two cops, at a time when I don't remember ever hearing about men being victims of domestic abuse. But I found myself in a relationship where that happened. My last marriage, my only marriage. That just became the nature of our relationship. And I kind of had to end it for that reason, because I realized it's never going to end. For 7 years, I thought it was just something that we were going to work through and, it was going to get better over time. It got worse over time. And so finally, at some point, I think after enough people asked me, because a lot of times relationships end and people think, oh, she was so pretty or he was so good looking. You guys look so good together. What must have been wrong? And there's a lot of blanks that could be filled in on my behalf of what must have been wrong. But finally, I'm like, this is what was wrong. Honestly, I meant my marriage vows. I would never just jump to divorce. But, till death do us part doesn't mean that you get to be the cause of it. So that was the reason. And so I think there was a point where I just got so sick of being asked that I finally kind of shared my story a little bit more publicly on Facebook for a brief period. And I think that's probably why I'm here.
Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Yes, thank you also for being with us this evening. And like you said, this is not generally a subject that most men talk about.
Nope.
But truly, it is definitely something that is happening across the country. So tell us why you think it's so important for men, especially men of color, to get the support needed to report domestic abuse.
For the same reason it's important for women. I think one of the worst consequences of any form of abuse is your loss of self-identity, your loss of self-worth, a loss of feeling like I care enough, I matter enough to somebody to where there's a limit on what you're gonna do. Like that's something that most of us walk around knowing with the people that we love. Okay, we might scream and fight, we might even rumble and tumble, but you're not gonna try to hurt me. Like that's something that you kind of, and that's a part of our self-worth. And like I matter enough to somebody that they're not going to physically harm me. And when that's taken through abuse, I think the first reason to do that is because that's a major safety blanket that we all need to survive. You don't realize how disruptive it is to your life until you lose it, and you're like, wait, now I don't even feel safe with the people that I love because somebody I love was unsafe with me. So I think that's the first reason, just to get yourself back on the path of getting that piece that was taken from you, of your own personal safety and integrity. I think that's the first reason. Other reason I think is because the fewer of us that talk about it, the fewer people hear about it. And my experience has been people think it's rare. It's not that rare. When I told my story, I can't tell you the number of public comments I got saying, yeah, me too, and private even more so. And I knew that even as I shared, because I'm fortunate to where I have enough close relationship with men where I know I've heard things that people don't share publicly. So I'm like, I knew I wasn't the only one, but the number of men that came forward because someone else did was astounding. That was probably the most positive benefit for me. That just tells me that more people have to talk, because people aren't going to talk and more people don't talk.
Right.
And it's
Right,
okay.
and
And if you are a male, it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to reach out for help. So thank you for sharing, to let people know that it is okay to speak on it. So
Yeah, we're not raised to be that way, right? That's
Right.
part of the problem our community's got to address. Like, we don't raise guys to be vulnerable. We raise them to pretend to be strong. I say pretend on purpose because it's true.
Right.
True. Like, vulnerability is strength, not the other way around. Like, so if you're running around always being vulnerable, thinking you're strong, you are pretending, because the strongest are the ones that are willing to risk, being vulnerable, I think. So, but we're not taught that as men. That we're taught that's our role in society, is to be strong, be tough, to suck it up, do whatever. And God forbid, we're also taught we're not supposed to hit women. So God forbid one hits you. How does that make you look? Like, we're supposed to be the one protecting, and the ones we're protecting are beating us up, and the ones we're supposed to think we're taught to be so they're so fragile that we shouldn't even dare think about hitting them. Or that I think that's the bigger part for most men is, okay, the one we've been groomed to think is weaker than us just kicks your butt, whether you let her or not, don't matter.
Right.
Yeah. And again, there, like you said, there's a power in sharing your story, because then it starts to draw other people to know that it's not just them, and that they have a voice as well. And so, with that said, Jamal, what are some steps that you think we can take as a community so that men do know more about resources and options to protect themselves from an abusive relationship?
I mean, so I'll say this is kind of tongue in cheek, because my experience, on one hand, you need to avail yourself of the resources that exist. Most of the domestic abuse hotlines they're supposed to be gender neutral. And there are generally good resources out there. I have found that it's difficult as a man to navigate those resources because the whole system acts like you don't belong there. But there are counselors, there are therapists, there are but the same benefits. I know as a lawyer, like if you're trying to get away from somebody, you need to stay overnight in the shelter or whatever. Same places that would take a woman are supposed to take a man, right? Now, I'll say all that. I think the better resource, I know for me, has been telling somebody, particularly a man, because I think what you'll find is that they will confide in you. I think it's more common than we think. I don't think you're going to find a lot of men who are not going to be able to say, I can't really, if they've been in relationships with women or even with men, I don't think you're going to find a lot of people, if they've been in a relationship, I don't think you're going to find many people that are going to say, I can't at least relate to that. And I think that is powerful, to hear another man say, yeah, it wasn't quite as bad as yours, or maybe it didn't happen, but yeah. But there's some times I just left the people that just reached out and said, yeah, I can't say I went through what you went through, but I saw the red lights and I said, no, I left. That it's still validating. That is probably the best resource that we need as men, because you've already lost a part of your manliness, being the victim of abuse and being that person in the society where that's not supposed to happen to you. You've lost it twice already. To have another kind of reaffirm you and say, you know what, one, you did the right thing, and two, yeah, they'll either be like, it happened to me before, or I know somebody that it did. I think that's the best resource to engage. For me as a man, that did more for me than anything else.
Yeah, it's something about the power of sharing and telling somebody your experiences. And then you'll be like, oh my God, yeah, I experienced that too. And then there it goes, with the waterfall.
Yeah,
so
you ladies can, I'm sure, relate. Like, there's certain things that a woman can say to a woman that a woman's going to hear a certain way.
Yeah.
You can't communicate, just can't. We weren't to, and you just can't. You just, no more than a person of color can talk about the color of experience, white people can't do it. You just can't. Right. I think there are certain ways in which men can communicate to each other. When men validate each other, I think it has an effect that is unique, because it's like the very thing that you thought you lost, you're getting validated, because you're only going to talk to another man that you think is a man. You're not going to talk to one that you think is, you're not going to do that. And like, no guy's going to go confide in somebody they think less than. It's going to be somebody. And if they say, oh yeah, me too, or oh yeah, thank you, that was the right call, or I'm sorry that, anything that's validating, then you've gotten a little piece of your manhood back. You can't fight a non-man person.
Right. Yeah. And so now, with that being said, tell us about what you are doing to make peace with following your heart to protect yourself and move away from your relationship.
Not as well as I would like to, but I'm trying to be kind to myself. I think that'd be the best advice. I have a tendency, and I don't think this would shock Cassandra knowing me as long as she's known me. Like, I have a tendency to try to make everything look easy. Like, I have a tendency to, I've always been kind of an overachiever. So I have that tendency to act like nothing is a problem and I got it. I call them save a hoe. I have the tendency to think I can fix everybody, save everybody. No, I don't need to worry about it. Like, I'll be the first one to go find a hole in the corner and pick her up and try to turn it into a house. Because I think, I act I think I'm invincible. And when I went through what I went through, the whole divorce process, the whole experience, it was so dysregulating for me. It was so disruptive to my life. And part of me wanted to act like, okay, just, 2 tears in the bucket, move on, but I couldn't. And what I found through this experience over it's been about maybe 9 months since I kind of finally cut ties with her and moved on, is that like the truth in that is vulnerability is strength. It's actually more strong for me to say, you know what, it's just been rough. This has been a rough year for me. And that's what I've been telling people. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. This has been a rough year. That I get up every day and do the best I can and try to manage my life to the degree I have. That's enough. And being okay with that it's not supposed to look like what it looked like last year before I decided to walk away. I'm not supposed to feel whatever. Now, it's a major thing to go through as a man or as a woman. If you survive it, many people talk about there's so many victims that don't leave. They don't exit, or if they exit in a casket, right? You actually don't realize how significant of a battle you just won. And then to your body just is like, oh, now that you're out of that fight or flight, constantly panicking, constantly being afraid, constantly wondering what's next, or doing this good. Oh my God, well, I know this isn't gonna last. That all that stuff is gone. Your body's gonna be tired, your mind's gonna be tired, your heart's gonna be tired, it's being broken. And just being okay with being like, you know what, just be kind to yourself and say, you know what, it's okay to not have it all together.
Right.
I think that's probably like the thing I'm doing the most. I mean, at least I'm trying to do the most is being okay with not being okay.
Right.
Okay with, you know what, that did hurt and it was kind of tough. You know what, it's going to take you a while to get it together. It took you a while to get in it. It's going to take you a minute to get over it and get out of it.
Right.
I think that because abusing ourselves after being victims of abuse, that's not a good idea. Like, so beating yourself up, like you should be over this. That can't be the answer. That can't be the answer. Like being kind to yourself has got to be the answer because that's what you're trying to get back in recovering. Kindness. That's what you didn't get from the abusive partner.
Mm-hmm.
So give it to yourself, just like love and everything else we go looking for from everybody else. Don't give it to ourselves first.
Right.
That's my recovery plan. Be kind to me.
I love it, and keep it short and simple. Like you said, you got to focus on you. You weren't where you were. So leave it there and then just take it day by day. And sometimes it's minute by minute and sometimes it's second by second. But, but you still
right.
You're always trying to be kind because you think about like, okay, if would I do what I'm about to do to myself or say what I'm about to say to myself? Would I say that to my mother?
Mm-hmm.
Would I say that to my dad? Would I say this is my bestie? Nope. Okay, because why? Because it's not kind, right? So, okay. So am I gonna do, so do the things to yourself that you would do to someone you love, or so you want somebody to love to you, which has got to be being nice and being okay with struggling and having bad days and getting help and whatever. Because the other stuff is mean, and why would you do that? You already had enough of that. That's one thing I like. The witch from the Wizard of Oz, the Wiz. I don't want no more. Don't bring me no bad news. I don't want it. I'm just in the happy, kind things right now. If you come to me with a bit of drama, anything that's going to make me feel worse than I already do, I'm like, bye. I've learned how to disappear real quick from the bullshit. Excuse me.
No, you're fine.
So that's
Jamal, we
disappear from the bullshit.
Absolutely. You have to clear that way for yourself because other people will just continuously bring it to you if you allow it. So we have a pledge for our viewers. And so I'm going to read through the pledge. The question is, and I'll repeat it at the end of the pledge. The question is simply, why do you think this pledge is important? Right. So I'll come back to it, but here's our pledge. So Open Letters to a Survivor pledge. Today we pledge that we will not let survivors fight alone, that upon disclosing abuse, we will not only stand in the gap in prayer, but assist in resources. We will believe and guide them through the trauma and let them know they are not alone. Today we stand up for every survivor whose voice shakes telling their story, for survivors who choose to heal loudly because they had to be quiet for so long. When families and the justice system fails them, we will still uplift them and help them find their worth. We pledge today to continue our work and fight for survivors. And so again, my question to you is, what is the importance, or why do you think that pledge is important?
Well, first, I mean, of course, I've read the pledge before, but hearing you say it had a different impact. First, it's beautiful and important and impactful in and of itself. So that's reason enough. I mean, it just feels good, feels powerful. I think the pledge to me feels more like a commitment. It's a mutual promise, something that I don't think we do enough in society anymore. We do a lot of unilateral transactional things, like, can you do this for me today? Maybe this tomorrow, very transactional stuff. But when people say, because you did this, I promise to always do that, right? Which is what I think, if you, as a victim of abuse, that's what you lost. You lost that belief that that you matter, that because I'm here, there are things you will do and you will not do, right? Just because I'm here, not because I'm the perfect boyfriend or husband or wife or whatever, but because you love me, there are some boundaries and some things I can count on. And so that's what you lose, because that's not true, obviously. I think that pledge is somebody coming back and saying, you know what, I'm going to give you that. It's saying, because you opened up and shared your story, even when others mistreat you, aren't there for you, I will be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we all really wanted in the first place, was somebody to be there for us, to say I matter, to say I'm important, just because, not because my hair is fantastic, not because I gave you $1,000, not because I promised to do something for you, but literally just because I told the truth.
Yeah.
I told my truth. You're now committing that I got your back. Wasn't that like, that's what real friendship, that's what love is, right? That unconditional, I'm there for you just because. So I feel like that's probably the better reason. It's giving you back what you lost. In a much better package, by the way. So.
Well, that alone was powerful. Just explaining it like that, that was powerful to just explain it that way. So.
Well, I mean, that's what we all want, right? Somebody to say, I matter, I care, you matter to me, and I got you, right? I mean, that's what, in the day when you die, nobody's thinking, oh my God, I had so much money. Oh my God, I had such a beautiful house. It was just wonderful. Everybody out of this world happy. It's like, oh, thank God I had somebody who cared. Like, that's the people that leave happy. That's, I've seen a few folks leave this earth. The ones that I saw that looked like they was okay with it were the ones that were like there were people that loved them enough to be there and take care of them and whatever. The ones that were mad and screaming and kicking out the door were usually the ones that were jerks in life, and that's why nobody's there for them in death. I'm just saying, that's my experience. So I feel like, having somebody make a commitment that I'm going to be not a jerk to you, I'm going to be a friend, it's huge.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's what the pledge is. I'm promising to have your back, which is what we're friends, right? Have each other's back.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, you got me preaching.
No, we like it.
That's okay.
We a little churchy on this podcast. I'm just letting you know. We like
if I had my professional microphone and my music going, we might have ended right there. I didn't do my planning as well as I thought. I thought I had something very handy that is not handy.
Right.
It's not here. I don't know where it is.
That's all right. You're doing just fine.
Absolutely. Being authentic and right off cuff is how we roll over here anyway. So that's great. We don't want a script. We want it real. So now, what encouraging words do you have that you can give to another person who was in a similar situation or who is struggling, hurting, or can't seem to find their way out of their abusive relationship?
I think it was something that Cassandra, it was either in the letter or the pledge. It might have been both. Can't remember. But we deserve better. I think, and me personally, I mean, it sounds so easy. You hear, I mean, I've done podcasts, I've been on podcasts, I've been life coach. Like, I've heard people talk about worthiness so many times. I'm an ordained. Goodness, I've heard the conversation so many times. And in so many situations where apparently nothing had happened in my life bad enough So I had to ask my question: did I think I was worthy? Did I really feel worthy? And then this happens, and I'm like, I'm literally asking that question, which is, I think, where it comes from. Somewhere deep down, most people that are victims of abuse, whether it be physical, emotional, any kind, are the ones that somewhere deep down you're wondering if you deserve better, if you're worthy. So you put up with stuff that's less than, because secretly, whether you tapped into it or not, you wondering. You got something in you. I was bullied as a little kid. I don't think I realized how much. Once I got done with the bullies, I thought I had fixed it. I'm like, oh, once I finally fought the bullies back and they left me alone, I was like, oh, damn, problem solved. Well, no, the bullies are good at finding the ones that have worthiness issues. Narcissists are good at finding the ones that are super empaths. The ones that are super empathic are usually the ones that have worthiness issues. You care so much about every damn body else because you got worthiness issues. That's kind of blowing in, because the ones that got really great self-worth are like, I care about you a little bit, but you know what? That's it. The empath, we tend to be the ones like, oh, I'll just die for you if I have to. I'll figure out me later. That's what the empaths do, because we have deep worthiness issues. But worthiness comes from God. Worthiness is not something you earn, right? I remember hearing, I think it was Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle. Somebody said, you don't have to ask for you don't have to do anything to be entitled to breathe. You don't have to be rich, poor, black, white, gay, straight, long hair, short hair, no matter what. As long as you are alive, you have the right to breathe the air on this planet. And nobody can stop that. Right? Worthiness to be treated with dignity and respect is the same way. You don't have to do nothing special. You don't have to put up with abuse to prove that you're the big man and I'm gonna love it out of her, or I'm gonna save her and fix her. You don't have to do all of that to be worthy of love and to be treated with kindness and respect. We came in this just like we were worthy to breathe. We came into this world worthy to be treated with kindness and respect and love. Like you don't have to perform. And I think for me, that's been a hard lesson to learn. I don't have to put up with bullshit to prove that I love you.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't have to put up bullshit to make me think that you love me. Because a lot of us think putting up bullshit is proof of love. Some of us, got a little bit too much. I mean, spanking is fine every day, in my opinion. But some of us got a little bit too much. Some spirit of rod enough. They just they've come to think. I have my personal opinions on corporal punishment. My son is now 16, and you can imagine what he got a couple of times. But I believe that there are limits, right? There's some people that as kids got abused by people that they love. And so now they run around loving people that are abusing them because they think that's love. It's not. So realizing that none of that special extra crap is love or is necessary to be worthy or to be worthy to receive love and to be treated kindly. And that's the best piece of advice I would give anybody. You don't need a justification for being willing to walk away from somebody who can't keep their hands off of you and can't treat you with some respect. Can't say, okay, I realize the argument's getting out of control and I realize you're trying to stop it from getting out of control. I appreciate you, husband. I appreciate you, boyfriend. I got this. Let me go get myself together. We'll talk later. Thank you. Thank you for being man enough to say, babe, it's out of control. This is a bit too much. All this hands in my face and you hitting and popping me. You're pushing my buttons. I'm trying to let you be, you don't have to do anything else to justify the fact to have a person who says, thank you, husband, boyfriend, friend, whoever you are, for being man enough to tell me you've hit your limit and and I'm not crossing right. And you don't need to do anything else to be worthy of that. Nothing. That's it. Just breathe. They say be black or die. That's all. Right? You don't have to do anything special to be entitled to that.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that. And I've been writing down nuggets from this show. So You've been dropping some great ones for us tonight. So our last question is, it's a two-part question. So what's next for you? And if needed, how can our viewers reach out to you for additional questions or support?
Okay. So I'll tackle the last one first. I figured out how to do it just before we got back on here. I put it right under my name, my little link tree. So that's got all my stuff in it. Easiest way to get it. And I think all my socials are at Jamal M. Edwards, something like that. So it's not that complicated. What's next for me? So like, I also think one of the things that people that go through abuse have to, you need therapy. You need therapy. I don't care. I'm not talking about going to your church, talking to your pastor. I'm talking about somebody who's actually went to school, like, and been through some stuff. Like, you need some therapy. It's nice to talk to your pastor and your buddies, but you need some therapy. So I'm doing therapy, and therapy is going to identify some things you need to work on. One of which is, surprise for me, worthiness. Right? Learning how to not be Captain Save-A-Ho, and learning not to try to fix everybody, and learning how to just start putting all that stuff that I used to put out to everybody else in myself. So next for me, I promised myself my divorce was final a little bit over 45 days, not that I'm counting, ago. And I was like, after it's final, I'm giving myself a year, and I'm not dating nobody but me.
Right.
So that's what's next for me. Learning how to fall in love with me, learning how to prioritize me, learning how to say, you know what, I'm good enough and I don't need to do nothing else. And if you don't like this, then fine. You don't have to be here. Learn how to, right? Not like, oh my God, let me flip all over and let me make some grand romantic gesture. Let me buy you something pretty to change your mind. Nope. Nope. Learning how to just be like, you know what, I'm good enough. I love me. And if you don't like it, then get to stepping, as Martin used to say back in the day. But it's a blast from the past.
Absolutely. Sabrina put up a suggestion. You guys are going to Europe. Like, let's go on vacation, baby. So
well, I have nothing against a vacation. I'm always up for a vacation. I definitely need one of those things. So don't, don't put it out there if you ain't ready to back it up,
That include the whole team, Sabrina, right?
She's one of my minister friends, so she know better. She's speaking things as though they were. So I'm looking for the cruise ticket next. You just put it out first. So make it come true. All right, I'm ready. My passport is in order.
Right. Yes.
Until such time as I find myself on this vacation, however, I will be dating myself and just learning how to.
Absolutely. She said we are going, so that's been confirmed, Jamal.
You guys listen, but so this can hold up in a court of the law. Now I got witnesses
right,
documented.
Right. He said, I'm so proud of all of you guys. The world needs to hear your voices.
Oh,
so thank you so much for that.
The world is definitely going to hear yours too, because I know you have a lot to say.
Yes. So we thank you so much for coming on today. That is all of our questions. So we do, at the end of our show, we always do our motivational minute from Tim. He's our contributor. So if he is on, we could do that. You could stick around to listen to our motivational minute, or you don't have to if you don't want to. And before we end the show tonight, I do have an announcement for everybody. So I'm going to do the announcement first because we are waiting on Tim. If Tim does not come in, we'll ask our guest today to just do a little motivational minute. So if he doesn't mind, if not, then we'll do it. But so we actually asked all of our Facebook friends to get us to 150 followers. Today we did reach that goal of 150 followers. We actually are a little bit over that. So on Wednesday, I'm saying it again, Wednesday. Did y'all get the memo? Wednesday. If you like the post, comment and subscribe to our channel. We will be doing a cash giveaway on Wednesday. So it's going to be at random. We'll have somebody, one of my co-hosts or our producer, pick the person. So they'll just randomly pick a person. We'll send a cash app. So 150 followers. We're actually right now one over that. We're at 151 the last time I checked. So thank you so much, everybody, for liking
Thank you.
our group, and we'll have more to come. You know, there's another podcast that spotlights mental health in the Black community. So we thank you for just coming on and just supporting us. So with that being said, Cassandra, you could go into our yes, I did just say money. You can go into our sponsorship, and then if Tim's not on, we'll close the show with our motivational minute.
Awesome. So, guys, your support matters. By sponsoring Open Letters to a Survivor, you join us in our commitment to improving mental health outcomes for people of color and tackling systemic disparities. Help us continue this important work by becoming a sponsor. Reach out to us at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com, and in the subject line, put sponsor.
Thank you so much. And since Tim is not on yet, still, I don't think we can go ahead and just ask our guest for today to just close with a motivational minute. If Tim pops on, of course, we'll have 2 motivational minutes because it's never
enough.
It's never enough. I mean, it's never not enough. So we need all the motivation we can get. We need to go to church as much as we can. So we'll just have our guest today do the motivational minute.
Well, okay. So I will pick up where I left off with worthiness. That literally you're worthy. There's the motivation. Like, you don't need to do anything special. You don't need any magic words. You don't even have to really even know it. You just have to be it. You just have to get up every day, walk this earth, and be yourself. There's a saying, I think Dr. Seuss, Doctor Who, said, like, why fit in when you're born to stand out, right?
Yeah.
You don't, your uniqueness and whatever you're not doing right or what it is does not make you unworthy of love. And I don't think we're taught that as guys enough. Like, we are taught that we're supposed to perform, to do something, just like women sometimes are taught their worth is their body and they're, to give us kids and cook meals, and whatever men are taught our worth is, how many kids we can create and how many bills we can pay and what we can put together. Your worth is not about that. Your worth is just because you're here, just like your right to breathe. I think our worth is more tied to our willingness to be ourselves, our willingness to be vulnerable and open, because that's what kind of makes the world go around. That's kind of the rent we pay, I think, as human beings on this planet for a good life, is being a nice person, being kind to other people. I think that's the currency that makes the world go around. But if you're doing all of that, you don't have to do anything else to feel like you don't deserve to be beaten up or talked to like you're crazy, on edge, or fighting with people. You don't need to do anything else other than try to be your best person you can be nice, be kind, know your boundaries, know who you are, right? Use your words, anything special. The stuff that you're already doing is already enough. And I think a lot of us as men don't realize that we're already enough. So I'm here to say it, fellas, you're enough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You are enough. So, yes. And so Tim did just pop on, so we did want to turn it on. Thank you so much for coming on today. And giving us the nuggets. Oh, you're welcome. We'll, if you ever want to come back, just reach out to Cassandra. We love to have people back. And
it's 30 something years and counting. I guess we're not losing track of each other.
That's right. Going nowhere.
If I tried.
Right. And Tim, we always want to tell, we can't see you right now, but Tim, take us to church to close our show for tonight.
How's everybody doing? Good to be here. Good to be on here, and I'm glad to be on here. And pretty much I'm just gonna be brief and let you all know that throughout each and every day, just continually be you. Continually allow your light to shine. Continually allow your your purpose to be met as well. The key thing is to know your purpose within this world, because we're all on this earth for a reason. It's up to us to know our purpose. And how do you know your purpose? Is to ask the Lord. The Lord Jesus put us on this earth for a purpose. He has a purpose and a gift for us. Many gifts for us. It's up to us to know that gift and apply that gift within our daily life. It says it in the 12th chapter of Romans about being kind to one another, about your gifts. But the main thing is allow the Lord to shift your thought process as well, because sometimes in this earth, there's many going to go through many trials and tribulations in the world going to try to get you from your calling and your purpose, but continually be you, no matter what. Continually be you. Allow your light to shine. Allow Jesus to be there with you, because He'll never leave you nor forsake you as long as you put your faith, trust, and dependence in Him. But the main thing is to continually be you. Continually allow your light to shine, and continually allow your purpose to be met as well. But how do you apply your purpose is to know your purpose. And how do you know your purpose is to ask the Lord. Ask the Lord about your purpose, and He will reveal it to you as well. But continually be you and allow your light to shine. Allow no one to dim your light, but allow your light to shine wherever you go. Remember, greater is He that's in you than he that's within the world. Continually trust in the Lord. Continually be yourself, and whatever your purpose is, trust that purpose. Don't allow no one to take you from that purpose. Continually trust that purpose and apply that purpose within your life. And one key thing as I close, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not to your own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. God bless you, and God keep you.
Thank you, Tim. Bye, everybody. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We love you. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.